Meth equals Psycho. Name made the title up. So I'm not a meth user. I mean, I have run into it in my life because I hang out with shady characters. I was living at 801 Elysian Fields in the Marigny, just next to the French Quarter, Marigny Rectangle. I had like a view of Washington Square Park, and I put film on my window so I could look out and nobody could look in. It was a good time. Some interesting things went down. 2 parks I got to observe in my life. Prospect and Washington Square. So I became kind of like the super of the building, or slave, whatever you want to call it, for Ajit Asi. He was a Singha, and he wanted to make sure that he was distinct from other Indians, that he was a warrior Indian. Ajit Singha. So I was probably, I don't have to check. Okay, going on faith. They say you can't change neuroticism, but deep breath. I'm not checking the camera. I heard the beep, but I saw the red thing, or I wouldn't have ran over here. So I did all this work for cheap, and that's whatever I call slaving. And it's just, there's always the boundaries, and you find yourself, working without being on the clock all the time. Because people have questions. They want to know. And that's not you working, you talking to them, educating them. So I was polyurethane a loft I built in my apartment on 801 Elysian Fields. And we just got a new tenant. She was upstairs. I'm gonna say her name. Fuck it. Jamie. And I had the keys to every apartment, and I walked up and knocked on the door, and I asked Jamie if I could sleep in her apartment because I couldn't sleep in mine because of the fumes. And she said, yeah, sure, but I'm going to be doing some of this. I hope you don't mind. And she showed me a little baggie, and I had never seen a little baggie of anything before. No little baggies. And it was just a little tiny, it looked like, like a couple shakes of salt. And I sat down, and she was younger than me, or she is younger than me, and I had kind of an attraction to her intelligence and her mind and her drama, and her art. She's a wonderful artist. So I saw all that, but she seemed a little sketchy. The people she hung out with, I thought maybe carried too many baggies, and I didn't know anyone with baggies. But she definitely wasn't my type. I don't like makeup girls, but like dirty girls, like dirty, like dirt under the fingernails. I don't know. Even though, what a hypocrite. I have dirt under my fingernails, but I wouldn't want to get down with me when I had dirt under my fingernails either. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll try it. What the fuck is it? And she said meth, and I didn't know anything about it. And so she did a little bump, and I did a little bump. And it was like 5 minutes. I was like, oh my God, I want to fuck this girl right now. And yeah, it was really bad for me. So Jamie and I I don't remember what we did, but I remember instantly being extremely sexually aroused and not thinking right at all, and not having the awareness that I wasn't thinking as odd as I was. Anyway, that night, we didn't sleep, of course. And she went down to the square, and I went to my apartment, and it was, 12 hours, And I was still like, my heart was still, and I'm like fucking hearing aliens and shit and writing down. I think it was like at the beginning of Facebook and stuff, and I was like, I'm getting communications from extraterrestrials, and really believed it. And I got this message. It's like, you got to get Jamie to quit doing drugs. I was like, you damn straight. This is a good girl, man. She's got great artwork, and if she does this shit, because my heart's still going a million miles an hour, and I still want to fuck I mean, I have a strong sex drive without this devil crystal. So I walked down to the square, and I didn't know what I was like gonna tell Jamie. I don't know what the fuck was happening, but she had her artwork on the fence, Pirates Alley, and she came up to me, and I don't remember what the conversation was. I just remember the assault I made on her. I spit a wad in her face, said something like, "Don't do drugs." Something. And then I went back to the apartment, and you know, she seemed stunned, and I didn't know if she was high or not, but I certainly no good for me. So I went back to my apartment at 801 Elysian Fields, and kept getting messages. You know, you have to get Jamie to give up drugs. And then I started getting more messages. I have to save the planet. You know, because the way that the Green Party is going about trying to get climate change to stop and you know, stop pollution, it's not working. It's not working at all. It's getting worse. Or it's just being displaced to other countries where they can run. They don't mind poisoning their so the poison just gets distributed like where the money is. Oh yeah, you can breathe the air, but here where I live, no. Imagine that. I don't know how many people could like just fucking imagine that. Like right down the street, a huge company. I saw it today. Their pollution system was fucked up, and instead of these big, beautiful, puffy clouds, it's this like gray, red, like haze that just like ooh comes up, and it smells like sulfur, Satan ass, and it's hardcore pollution. So, and also I was starting to, well, I mean, I've already been debated religion, but I had become a hard atheist at that point. I did, you know, at a certain point, studying 801, which is 8 is infinity, and 0 is 0, and 1, 8, infinity, 0, 1. I started studying those things and those concepts, and oh yeah, where was I going with that? 0, 0, 0. Oh, religion. Yeah, I realized. I mean, all religion is to explain why everything is here. And in my study of 801, I realized 0 or nothing or true nothing is impossible, has never existed. It's not a thing. And if, you know, not if that's the case, there was no creation. So, like, the question is like you're asking, it's a dumb question. There are dumb questions. The universe wasn't created. I mean, our universe had a beginning, but the substance of the universe is constantly recycled. I think it's, you know, except this, there is no this, because this means there's space outside of it. So never mind. That's another conversation entirely. So I became a hard atheist at that point, joined this humanist club, which they're all angry. And I wanted to make a religious statement because it's fucking up the world. And so to get Jamie to quit doing drugs, I got my chef knife, pamphlets. I had pamphlets. I don't remember what the fuck pamphlets were. But I threw pamphlets in the hallway steps going up to her apartment. And I took my chef knife and then a little vial of keef, which is, you know, I never had little baggies, but keef is extract from cannabis that I was lucky enough to have. So in her banister, I put the knife and the little thing of keef, and then went in her apartment, and then above her kitchen, there was like this little like a place to hide. I don't know, it's like a storage something. And so my thought was, she walks up the stairs, picks up the knife, holds the little keef. I don't know if she knows what it is, but it definitely looks like a drug. And then goes into her apartment, right? And I jump down. And she either has to kill me or I'm going to rape her. So how does this get her to stop doing drugs? I have no fucking idea. So I've got to make sure it's recording. God. Yes. Oh, it's a hard one to change. It's a hard one to change. Yeah, it's called psychosis. You don't explain it. Like if somebody comes up to you and they're crazy and they're like, there's people chasing me. You don't say, there's nobody's chasing you, because that's just gonna make you a fucking accomplice. You've got to get them to calm down, de-escalate, but don't question their reality. I just think that's the best way to deal with somebody who's psychosis, is to get them into a hospital. And you're not going to get them into a hospital if they're running away from you. But Jamie told me later that because she took me to court for something. No, I took her to court. She took me to court, but I drove her to court. She was in the back of my minivan home with her friend, this guy, because she couldn't get a ride to the courthouse to sue me. And then something. Oh no. At that point, she was dropping the charges because whenever she filed the charges, I said, Jamie, you gave me methamphetamine. I don't think you're going to win a case against me. And I didn't rape you. I don't think I told her that I was going to rape her. I think it probably was just from the spit in the face. So she didn't come in the door. I heard her come up the hallway, and I don't think she probably came home that day. Anyway, I wasn't waiting around, and I wanted to finish my mission of really terrorism. So I had a push dagger and a telescoping wand. It's like the police carry them. It's a little stick, a little metal ball at the end of it, and you can whack a person over the head. Whew, they fall down. And so I went to Florida, drove to Florida, and it's not hard to find religious people there. So I went to the beach near St. Petersburg, and everybody was religious there. And I heard some Christians talking about Christian bullshit on the beach with kids, and they were laughing and having fun. And, I saw the sun set, and it was beautiful. And I just had plans, I wanted to find a church with a priest alone, go in, bust him over the head with my stick, so he was unconscious, and then cut his dick off and then put it on the altar or whatever they have, find a special place for his dick, but mutilate him, not kill him. So, and but after I went to the beach and I saw, the kids and the Christians, and even though everything that came out of their mouth was like, painfully stupid, I like people. And then I started thinking about, what eco-terrorism I could do. So I was thinking, I was planning on finding a Humvee dealership. This was before the days of, Google on a phone. And I was going to find a Humvee dealership, buy a tank of gas and run gasoline under all the Humvees and then light it on fire. But instead, I drove into town to the city, and I went in to a hospital and I said, I'm not feeling very well. I think I'm a danger. So do what you gotta do. And they took my push dagger and they took my telescoping. Oh my God, I missed. Gosh. This is why I kind of want to read, these stories. I should have bullet points. So I missed one thing. So on my way to Florida, I picked up a hitchhiker, and I was living in my van, and I had it I had my minivan made for living. And she's like, hey, you want to smoke crack? And I don't think at that point, no, I had never seen crack before. And I was like, yeah, I definitely do. You know, the meth really encouraged me to do the crack. She's like, you got money? I said, yeah, I got $100. So I had in my safe, in my car, I had some $100 bills. And she's like, that's great. And I said, okay. And we went into the crack house. Well, pulled up in the minivan to this, she took us there, and she knocks, and the guy peeks open the door. He's like, who the fuck is this guy? And she said, oh, he's a hitchhiker. He got $100. He wants to smoke. And I look like a narc, like a straight edge. So all druggies are usually typically very paranoid. And I was still high on meth, I don't know, 2 days later, and super high, excited, and, of course we can make this happen. Of course I can come in and have it. And I went to, I was like, I'm cool, man, I'm an artist, I just want to have fun. And I went to open the door, and he pulled out a gun. He's like, I'll fucking kill you right now. And I was like, whoa, no, man, no, this is no fun, no. And so I de-escalated the situation and was invited inside. And there were crackheads all around, and I don't think I got to do crack. I think what happened is there was so much going on, but I believe this is what happened. I know that I did mouth to mouth, like a secondhand thing, which I don't think is supposed to work with crack. I don't know how crack works, but I had to have done one hit, maybe not. Fuck, I was out of my head. Still high, 2 days later, from this horrible, awful thing. Anyway, they were smoking, and tiny thing, and like a pipe. It's just it's real sad, so poor, and there were girls, and the girl was like, oh, I was like, give me a shotgun. She breathed in my mouth, and I doubt I could have even gotten higher, because the meth was made me psychotic, which is beyond when you're psychotic, it's like fantasy land. You are a superhero. And somebody was like, we need toilet paper. And I was like, I got toilet paper. And I in my car, because I live in my car. And I lived in my car, and I got up, and the crack dealer again threatened to kill me with his gun. And I was like, no, man, I'm not going out to get the police or anything. I have toilet paper, and they need toilet paper. De-escalated again, and got the toilet paper, and man, I was, popular person, but not for very long, because I wasn't going to buy another $100 worth of crack. I don't even remember doing the crack. If I did the crack, I just got the secondhand crack smoking. So I don't think it was, but very reckless. Anyway, okay, so I was at the hospital then, after I decided, something's wrong with me. Wonder what that was. And I was there for 3 days. They gave me some antipsychotics, I am assuming, and I ate the bologna sandwiches and watched the bad TV and observed the crazy people, and lost my desire to mutilate a priest and do some eco-terrorism. And they gave me my push dagger and my telescoping wand back, and then I drove back to New Orleans. And I think that was 5 days, 6 days. I was just coming down, just feeling like they shouldn't have given me my knife back. They should have kept me for a couple more days. But so don't do meth. I mean, Jesus.